Call of Duty Vanguard had double XP this weekend. I bet you didn't know that. I didn't until Saturday night. So I had a few ciders and I thought, you know what? Let's jump back in. I've got some leftover Dominoes. I've got some ciders. Let's play this game again. You know, this is the first Call of Duty game since, God, what was it? Infinite Warfare, I think, where I haven't prestiged. I prestiged, I think, a couple of times in World War II. I prestiged, I think, 3 times in Black Ops 4. You couldn't really prestige in Modern Warfare, but I did reach that prestige threshold. Black Ops, I prestige a bunch. A Cold War, I prestige a bunch of times. I have no idea why to this day. If I even think about going back to that game, I get bored. But I think I prestige like 7 times in that game. I still haven't in Vanguard. When I first played it, you know, on the night that it came out, I think I got to like level 40. And then the next day, the following day, I played through the campaign. I actually quite enjoyed it. And then I didn't touch the game again, I don't think. Every now and then I pick it up and see what the new maps are like, but ultimately I think, you know, every time I think back to playing that game, I just wouldn't have that urge at all, not even close. I really wouldn't care enough to go back into the game and play it, which is bizarre, because, you know, in the past, Call of Duty has always had like this stranglehold on me, especially with, I remember Modern Warfare 3, I hated the game, I didn't like the game at all, but I was so addicted to it, you know. Every day I would think about like jumping back in and being like, man, I hate this game, why did I just play 8 hours of it, you know. I just loved being on Seatown. I didn't like the game. I know. My whole, you know, channel is founded on me disliking Modern Warfare 3 back in the day. But it did have a stranglehold on me. You know, Black Ops 1 did too, and I loved playing Black Ops 1. You know, and after that, Black Ops 2, even that, I wanted to jump back in, but this, and it's not even the game's fault, you know. Despite the fact that I actually thought it was okay when it came out, like I gave a relatively positive review of it, I just never wanted to jump back in. I never felt I want to. Maybe it's because it plays so much like Modern Warfare 2019. But this was my experience. My experience was actually relatively positive. You know, it may shock you to hear that, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but I had an okay time. Like, it was fun, and I think I'm going to jump back in and finish a prestige in this game, because I do think it deserves it. Now, look, this is all regardless of the horrible politics going on behind the scenes in Activision, and I do think a lot of that fueled a lot of the hate, and I think it should. That aside, the game alone, I actually think like it plays quite well. My experience, you know, my overall coming away from the game thought was that it actually, I thought, played really smoothly. You know, I think it's a really smooth game, smoother than, you know, butter on my arse cheeks, just waiting for that credit card to slide through. Really just smooth as hell gameplay, you know. And I think the maps, you know, decent size, interesting enough aesthetically. I wouldn't say very interesting. I don't think it's like Treyarch weird, and I don't think it's Modern Warfare grounded. I will say that I think the UI is ugly as sin. I don't think the graphics are as good as they were in Modern Warfare or even really Cold War. And I think there's an overall cheapness to it. But I think the positive to all of that is that it really played well. Like, I don't know. I felt as though the game was working with me. Like, there was a definite sort of duality between myself and the game, and it played the way I wanted it to. This is really weird to say. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it wasn't bad. I feel like I have to keep reassuring myself that it wasn't bad. Obviously the cons were still there, you know. I think that it feels as though there are like 3 different weapons in this game, and they're just modeled slightly differently from one another. But as someone who runs like run and gun, assault rifle, and SMG classes, all the guns feel the same. pretty much, you know, I run an STG with an ACOG because it feels like a Star Wars Battlefront 2 blaster. And I'll pick up like another gun, you know, I'll pick up a bar or something, and I'll just be like, it's the same. You know, there's something, I don't know if it's World War II guns in a World War II game, but I do get the sensation that nothing gun-wise, nothing new is happening at all. You know, in Modern Warfare, you might pick up this crazy like anime gun with a laser on it and a weird sight, and the gun is something you've never seen before, and it's got all these cool attachments. And I don't get that sense with World War II. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of goofy stuff in there. I predicted the hell out of this, that like vote on, you know, who had the best moment, like who had the most headshots, score, you know, best KD. That still hasn't had enough interest in the store for it to not look like it's just happened. So that you still get these situations where all three are just default skins doing default things, and it looks super tacky. And people always just vote for the first one because you get a little 20 XP boost, 25 XP if you just hit A. So everyone just votes for the first one. The guy in the middle could have like 52 billion headshots and won the game single-handedly, and everyone else went 0 and 25, but he went 120 for 0, and it wouldn't matter. The first person always gets that vote. So, you know, that's still disappointing. And was it exciting? No. But I just think it played well. I think I had a good time in it. And the map selection, by the way, in this game is insane. Okay, look, the maps don't grab me quite as much as they did in Modern Warfare or even Black Ops Cold War, but they're not awful, and there are so many. I looked it up online. I think there's 23 maps currently in this game. And okay, they're not all massively different, but there is some, you know, some variance to it. I had an okay time going back to Vanguard, and I think I am going to finish up my Prestige. I don't know if I'm going to make a video retrospective of this game because I don't think I played it enough to actually make one. But in hindsight, you know, I think I actually feel better about this game than, you know, now than when it came out. When it came out, I was a little bit, you know, dubious about a lot of things, the gameplay and such. But I do think it actually plays quite a bit different to Modern Warfare now. I think it's faster, and I think it's a little bit more fluid. I do think Modern Warfare 2019 overall is a much better game because there's more to it, there's more depth, there's more meat on the bone, and I prefer the maps. But this isn't bad. Honestly, Vanguard, I know it's not the popular opinion, but I think I'm going to remember it as an okay game. And I think everyone is, by the way. You look back in a few years, I know I said this in my review, but you look back in a few years' time, people, I think, are going to remember this game as like, you know, this little plucky underdog. I think people are going to think of this game positively in the future. So come back to this video when everyone's saying, I actually thought that was a great Call of Duty game. I actually thought it was pretty good because I said it when it was in its prime, when it happened, when it was there. So yeah, that's my experience with Vanguard. Coming back to it, let me know if you have any thoughts in the comments, although you probably won't. So I guess I'll see everyone later.